More woes for the Dragon Age RPG module playing community? Has Set 3 really been pushed back? More news inside. Yes, that's right. After a long wait, very patiently by all of the Dragon Age GMs, we were told by Green Ronin that the PDF for Set 3, which was going to be the one that takes you from levels 11 through to 20, all in one go, thus skipping a tier 4, effectively, and combining them all in one, was going to be released in PDF form November and then physical product January. Well, from a statement today that appeared on the forums, as it is now 21 days through November and still the PDF hadn't appeared, Chris Pramas has just stated on the forums, Set 3 is in the approvals process. We've been sending chapters up to BioWare for some time now, getting back their comments and revising the text. When it became clear the text would not be ready for a November release, we pushed back the commissioning date for art to help manage cash flow. We will hopefully release the PDF in January. Now, this news hasn't been launched officially that I've seen on the Green Ronin site yet, so it's just a case of following the forum and seeing this now. So, you are getting this as the breaking story. The PDF release pushed back, delayed to January. Now, whether that means that it's going to follow that the physical product will come 2 months afterwards or not, I don't know, because it would obviously come out in March then, and that is a long, long wait. I am of the opinion that they're going about this all wrong. Obviously, BioWare are holding them up, delaying them, they aren't authorising things, and it's always going to be hard when you're working through some other person's IP. However, the major issue that I see them making it worse in is giving themselves more work to do in one go. I believe it was a blunder putting Set 3 and Set 4 together. I mean, if they'd have just kept it as Set 3, the workload would have been smaller, more contained. We might have had it by now. But because they're trying to also include the Set 4 content, and of course if they'd have done it as a separate box, they would have then felt obliged to give us yet another separate module, because the distance between what will probably be the built-in module for like when you're tier 3 to tier 4 is a huge jump of experience time. So I mean, what are you going to be playing in sort of like the last 5 levels? Is there going to be an official support for that? Obviously with Dragon Age 3 coming, I suppose that there will be some sort of continued support, but it's cash in, isn't it, really, in a way? I suppose that is also, again, the reality of gaming. We may play it as a passionate hobby, but the people that can actually green-light these things have to know that there's going to be a sizable return on their investment, or they won't even go out of the gate. Because of the roughly sort of lack of module releases and support from Green Ronin, and I know they've probably had their hands tied somewhat on this, it's meant that a lot of GMs have had to go elsewhere and try and find other content. So, I mean, it's happened with me. I've been like racking my brains how to keep content going. I dipped into Labyrinth Lord a little bit and converted into Dragon Age. I've took some Steve Jackson, Ian Livingstone fighting fantasy, the stuff that was actually purposely built for you to GM, but it used just like D6s, the fighting fantasy system, and starting converting some of that and continue to convert more of it. I'm planning on doing conversions of Freeport properly into the world and saying, yep, it now exists here in Thedas, and so on and so forth. All of these things I've felt are necessary because I want to work with modules and adapt modules. And of course, I'm making up my own content as well, but I like combining that with, in this case, having to convert over. So I suppose that's had a lot of us GMing in that way, converting a lot of things over. And it's been interesting, I suppose, to get us working in that way. But of course, essentially, it's more work that we really shouldn't have to be doing. But then, of course, the final element to this story that really, really ticks me off is, and we're still unsure of the answer on this yet, is, do you remember the Deep Roads campaign book that was promised? Okay, just like Blood in Ferelden at Tier 1, this was set to be a Tier 2 campaign book with, I guess, like 3 adventures in that lead you one after the other. And if it's anything like Blood in Ferelden, it's going to be amazing because Blood in Ferelden is so brilliant. If you play Dragon Age RPG and you do not have Blood in Ferelden, correct that immediately, okay? I promise. The idea of going into the Deep Roads and doing a set 2 thing, all very nice. However, they did state that the Deep Roads book, campaign book, would come out after Tier 3, even though it's a Tier 2 campaign book, and you've got to kind of finish the Tier 2 content to gain experience to actually get to Tier 3. Green Ronin, come on! Oh, Green Ronin! I mean, it's obvious that you'd put the Deep Roads out first. So now, with this delay, I wonder if they're still going to hold by the policy of saying, well, yes, Deep Roads will come out after. And if they do that at this point, then, do you know what? They can swivel on one, as far as I'm concerned, because I've had enough of the way that the company's handled this entire situation. As a GM trying to function for Dragon Age Roleplay, the whole thing has just been an irritating mess and it's just been a disaster. It's such a good system as well. I mean, if you're just coming to it now, the later you start, the better with something like this, really, because you're closer to that point that once you level up and run out of content, that content that is coming will be closer to coming to you. But again, if you're going to play Dragon Age, make sure you've got a plan in mind. You're going to have to go out of the official material because there's not enough of it. Well, anyway, that's the update and some personal opinions from one GM here on the State of Play. But until next time, I will see you at the table.